Kowloon Walled City used to be an ungoverned and densely populated settlement in Hong Kong, formerly a military fort. The walled city rapidly became a haven for lawlessness, and it eventually went down in rubble after a series of events. Now the city is just a park. The walled city has been seen in history books as early as the 10th century, when it was an outpost set up to manage the trade of salt. Nothing more was heard of this city for hundreds of years, until a small coastal fort was established in 1810. After Hong Kong had been ceded to Britain in 1842, the Qing authorities felt the need to improve the fort and prevent further British advances or influence, so they built a formidable defensive wall which was completed in 1847. In 1898, China leased additional parts of Hong Kong to Britain for 99 years, but this deal did not include the walled city, which at that time had about 700 residents. Thus, the walled city became an enclave surrounded by British China. China was allowed to continue to keep their officials in the city, with the condition that they did not interfere with British Hong Kong's defense. British forces attacked the walled city on the 16th of May, 1899, and found that the soldiers had gone, leaving behind 150 residents. The British claimed ownership of the walled city after that, but they didn't do much with it. It became a mere tourist attraction for curious Brits and was labeled as Chinese Town on a map in 1915. There were plans to demolish most of the buildings in the walled city in 1933, compensating the 463 people who lived there by giving them new homes in other parts of Hong Kong. By 1940, only 3 buildings remained in the city, and when Japan occupied Hong Kong during World War II, it demolished the walls of the city and used the stones in the expansion of the nearby Kai Tak Airport. China reclaimed its rights over the walled city in 1945, after Japan's surrender. Thus, it became a Chinese enclave surrounded by British territory. Refugees poured into the walled city for British protection during the Chinese Civil War, and by 1947, there were over 2,000 people in the city. The British authorities tried to drive them out, but failed, and so they ceased to meddle in any affairs that concern the city. In the absence of government enforcement from the British or the Chinese authorities, the walled city was virtually under the control of the triad crime syndicates, and because of this, the city quickly became a haven for prostitution, drugs, and crime. The city continued to grow despite this, with the vast majority of the residents not involved in crimes. At a point, the city had around 30,000 people in just over 300 buildings, on less than 8 acres of land, lacking major amenities including healthcare. However, the Chinese and British authorities soon found the city to be increasingly intolerable, and the two governments mutually agreed to demolish the city in 1987. But demolitions did not begin until 1993, and it was concluded in 1994. The construction of Kowloon Walled City Park began immediately and has since replaced any remnants of the great Kowloon Walled City. If you liked this video, don't forget to click the like button and hit that notification bell for more videos brought to you by Epic Clips.